Monica Makes It Happen podcast is proudly supported by Goya. If it's Goya, it has to be good. And by JP Morgan Chase, New York's hometown bank for over 225 years.
Hi, everybody. You're watching podcast number 25 of the Monica Makes It Happen podcast. And we are so fancy. We are in the TV studio. And I've got a prince with me. Prince Mapp is here. I'm so excited that you came in our studio. You might know him. You're already being recognized, right? Everywhere?
A little bit.
I think he said a police officer came over. Aren't you the, yeah. Pull-ups for peace is what it's called, and it is hitting every street corner in our city. And we
Other cities around the nation as well.
And around the nation. We'll talk about that. But then the mayor, we found out about him on Instagram, and I've known you for so long because you're a community champion. So we did a story, and then 24 hours later, I see Mayor Adams doing pull-ups for peace.
Oh, man,
I'm like, what's this? And then who's next? The governor? You said now we're going national.
I would love to see the president,
and he's calling on the president to do. Listen, I don't know what's happening here, but we have to have him on the podcast to talk about it. So thank you all always for joining us. Thank you, Prince. We're going to do what we usually do. We talk about your history, your story. We take a break. Then we're going to talk about Pull-Ups for Peace and some of your biggest fans who are celebrities too. Take a break, and then we're going to do a speed round. That's how it works. We have to thank our sponsors always. But I want to thank you. First, I don't know a lot about you, Prince, but I do know the mayor was doing pull-ups, is on board with whatever you're doing, some of the best community champions. Where are you from? What was your childhood like?
So I'm from South Jamaica, Queens, where I was born and raised. I grew up in South Jamaica, Queens. Typical household. My father was my champion. I wanted to be like him. He used to paint. He was a mechanic, and unfortunately, my father had a drug addiction where he overdosed on heroin.
Sorry.
On June 19, which comes around on Father's Day sometimes.
So he died around Father's Day.
On Father's Day, overdose of heroin. Like I said, I grew up in South Jamaica. Typical childhood. Played basketball. At 13 years old, I got arrested for a crime I did not commit. At 16 years old, I got shot in a robbery
First of all, I did not know any of this about you.
Yep.
I've just known you for years, and you've never opened up. So this is the first time that I'm hearing about this, and maybe our viewers are hearing
on a public scale like this, of course.
Why are you sharing all this?
Because at one time I was part of the problem. Today, I want to be looked at as part of the solution, and I use these things that I'm explaining to you as reasons to be part of the problem. Like my father overdosed on heroin, me being shot again at 18. And what you didn't know, which may shock you, is that at 19 years old, I was on the way to spend the rest of my life in prison. So before you met me and I opened up the car wash and invited incarcerated men, I was incarcerated. I did 18 and a half years in prison for recklessly taking a life. I regret it to this day. I've learned my lesson. I got my education in prison. When I came home, I had my bachelor's degree, and just November, I was honored to have an honorary doctorate degree. So that's my story.
What was that moment though? Was it in prison? Was it out of prison that you were like, I got to turn things? Was there like a light? Tell me, was there a moment? Some people say it's like this moment, or was it just a gradual, like, I got to change?
So it's something about the mirrors in the cell in prison, right? They're stainless steel. And they're stainless steel for a reason, because you can't really see yourself like a regular mirror, like you see every day.
Yes.
So you can't see yourself, but there's a way where you can polish your mirror with baby oil. And then when you polish it, it gets shiny, and now you can actually see yourself. One day I polished my mirror in my cell, and I looked in it, and I was disgusted with the person that I saw. I was just totally disgusted with the person I saw. I hadn't taken any accountability. I left 2 small children out there when I was arrested, and I was just disgusted. And that day, that moment, when I polished my mirror, where I realized that I wanted to be a better person, I began to go to school, I began to read more, I began to change my life. And what you see now, what we're doing now out here in the free world, what they want to call, I started doing in prison.
You know, that's an amazing story. And it's interesting because I was telling my daughter, look in the mirror and do the affirmations. And she's like, that's crazy, Mommy. I hope I'm going to show her this. I'm going to say, do you see what happened when one man looked in the mirror and really looked at himself.
How many people you know that have mirrors at home? Most men, they just look at the mirror and they just walk. But when you stop and take a glance, you start to see stuff that you don't really want to see, and you become uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And once you have to become uncomfortable first in order to fix these things.
Wow. It's almost like you need to have a near death, because it's like your life was taken, right?
Yes.
All those years taken.
Yes.
But instead of doing something, you turned it into something else, and now you're just devoting your life to helping others. No wonder you're so passionate out there. I'm like, he has so much energy, almost more than I do. We're neck and neck. Talk about that. We first met about the car wash. That was such a great idea. I think it went national when we did it. This was 2 years ago or 3 years ago. You were this incredible person saying, I need to open up a car wash for formerly incarcerated men and women. And it turned into this phenomena, a national thing too, where what a great idea. Put people to work and get them, washing cars, at least something, because there can be so many barriers to coming back into the community.
Right. Well, unfortunately, in underserved communities, young people are fascinated by formerly incarcerated men and women. Like when these people come home from prison, young people like glorify them.
Oh,
instead of the kid that go to college, the kid that graduate from the college, or the doctor, or the lawyer.
There's a real narrative.
They're glorified.
Yeah, there's a real narrative
so
there. Yeah.
I wanted to take that, bottle that up, and take it and use it for my advantage. So the solution, really using soap. So I took the incarcerated men, put them in a car wash, and they became the solution. And what they did, they attracted all of these young people in the community that was part of the problem. And guess what they became? Part of the solution.
I love it.
Using soap. Yeah. And, it was a beautiful thing, unfortunately.
Where do you come up with these ideas? Because then the Pull-Ups for Peace came out, right?
Yeah.
Are you in the shower? I get a lot of my ideas in the shower. Like, where do you come up with your ideas? It just comes to you?
Yeah, I just feel like I just want to be part of the solution. I don't want to be part of the problem. And I think that you have to have a catchy phrase or something catchy to get the young people's attention. So we're calling this.
Monica makes it happen.
Monica makes it happen, right? We're calling this a beautiful distraction.
Yeah.
Like, we want to go to street corners and distract them from gun violence, from drugs, from all of those things.
Let's talk about Pull-Ups for Peace before we go to our break. It's a citywide challenge where you spontaneously go to parks, city corners. You can check them out on Instagram. What's your Instagram handle?
Pull Up for Peace or Prince Mapp _.
Okay, you have 2 Instagrams? Yep. Okay, that's good to know. How did you come up with this idea?
Well, a friend of mine, his name is Basie Eli. He has a spot in Basie Projects called the Jerk Spot. I was watching him on Instagram one day. He was on the corner and just doing pull-ups. Like, that's what he works there. He sells food, and he also exercises.
Jerk Chicken.
Right.
I remember
I watched him. I said, wow, look at that.
I love him.
I said, imagine if I can go to every street corner.
He's got he can do so many.
Young people to do this, but I had a mindset of paying young people 50 cents a pull-up, but they already broke the bank. I can't pay them anymore. I ran out of money because they was lined up.
Sponsor. We got to get him a sponsor.
They was lined up. I did it in Basie with the story. Then we went to 145th and Rockaway, and they had about 25 kids waiting for me. So I'm thinking they're gonna do 2 pull-ups. They was doing 30 pull-ups and 40 pull-ups. So
I can't do the math fast enough. But after the break, we're going to talk about the mayor, we're going to talk about the governor, we're going to talk about the president. Going into this Pull-Ups for Peace, that's after the break. All right, we're back again with Prince Mapp. Prince Mapp is here to talk about his Pull-Ups for Peace initiative, which so many people are joining in. We're talking about, you have hip hop artists too, right?
Yes.
Who's doing it in the hip hop?
So Jim Jones was one of the first persons that reposted me. The rapper Jim Jones.
Jim Jones. Yeah, we are gonna go see him because he's doing something with one of our friends at PAL.
He's heavy on exercise. My son, he's another one that was. Who's heavy on peace and advocacy around the country. He's doing pull-ups. Legendary Erica Ford, we'll talk about her.
Well, she's one of your biggest supporters.
Yeah, she's legendary.
And when I arrived, that's why I love these podcasts. When I arrived, you only see on TV 2 minutes, okay? You were like, that was it? We worked all that time, so that's why I had to bring you in. It was literally the entire neighborhood was out there. Right? You're like, oh, come on out. It was really like informal. So I'm coming out there like, okay, I'll see Prince and maybe 2 people or something. It was like
over 100 people.
It was over 100 people.
Easy.
And it was awesome.
Had little kids doing push-ups and pull-ups, and free
and
watermelon.
The ladies were doing
the ladies was doing it.
I had a grandma, right? The grandma went up there. I don't know if she's a grandma, but she's about.
I'm a grandfather, so.
We look great. We look great. So she starts, remember, you can't do it. So if you can't do it, don't worry. Because I'm thinking to myself, I can't do a pull-up. That's okay. So maybe if Governor Hochul's watching, you're okay. You're going to have someone.
I will help you.
Someone will help you.
I will help you because that's
we just push you up, right?
It's about pushing you
it's just being present for your community, and it's a pledge that there's no violence, right?
No violence.
You'll think twice, and it brings the community together. And I love what you said. I go, Prince, in this moment, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? Because it was like everyone's cheering and people are doing it. And then you said, there's no violence. You said in this moment.
There's no violence happening right here in this area. No violence.
Nothing but peace and happiness.
This is why the mayor was so easy to have the conversation with, because I explained that to him. I said, Mayor,
how did that happen, first of all? So he just kind of saw the story or something? Like, what happened?
No, so he was making an announcement, at a press conference about partnering and just doing some other stuff with technology. And I happened to see him and I said, can I have a word with you? He said, sure. And I told him about the initiative. I said, this is what I did. And I said, Monica just did a story on me yesterday. And I said that, we're going from neighborhood to neighborhood, just pulling for peace, because I said, I know that you said that violence is down in New York City, but youth violence is up. I said, can you help me? He said, without a doubt, let's take a walk. And we walked to the nearest street corner and he got up there and did it. That easy.
Did you hear that? That's an amazing story.
Yep.
But see, you went out of your way. See, I've done that a few times myself to get people to come on board. You go out of your way, you found him where he was, and you said, come over. You can do it at any street corner.
And he was like, let's do it. And we walked and we talked, and I explained to him the initiative, and he was like so welcoming and understanding about how we all should work together. Like, nobody should turn that down when we talk about youth violence.
Yes.
The president, the governor, other senators, nobody should turn it down.
And that's what you want to do. You want, if someone's watching, you want now the governor, you want other.
I want the president. I want the president to acknowledge that we are pulling for peace around the country. Like, youth violence is up, and we can actually encourage young people and older people to pull for peace.
So you see,
and promote
as a
peace.
national initiative that can be done in every street corner in America. I love that. So coming up after this commercial break, we're going to talk a round of questions, my favorite part of this show, when we just ask the questions we always wanted, and a surprise question that's coming up. Okay, we're back. We're back with Prince Mapp. Prince, thanks for being with us. Pull-Ups for Peace is an initiative where he just spontaneously asks people, mostly young people, sometimes my age and maybe even older, to do pull-ups, whether it's a street corner, a park, wherever you are, and it's a pledge for peace during, the summer. I think the summer months can be pretty brutal. And sometimes violent. So we want to make sure that everyone feels supported. And it's such a beautiful win-win situation, right? Keeping people fit, keeping people together. It's great. But I want to talk to you a little bit about you. Can I ask you my standard questions?
Absolutely.
Okay, these might throw you off. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Biggest success in your life? Obviously, now that we know so much about you, that might be tough. This might be a tough one.
I think the biggest success for me was becoming an engineer. I come from South Jamaica, Queens, didn't have much education. I got my education in prison. And when I started working at Citizen, the CEO tasked one of the lead engineers to teach me engineering. And I actually built some of the hardware that we use now nationally around the world. So that's one of it's another thing that you didn't know, that I'm an engineer.
This is why I do the podcast, because after you just scratch the surface of a human being if you do just the TV story. I've learned that over the years. You got to have a conversation, and I love that we're recording these conversations, because usually I do these behind the scenes. Like, I'll talk to you like this behind the scenes, we'll talk. But I love that this is now forever. Somebody can now pull this up and see.
Watch it forever.
Yeah, like our kids,
and I also want to inspire
grandkids.
young people, young black kid from South Jamaica, Queens. You could be anything. And I just want to tell you this. You don't have to be like me to be like me. You don't have to be shot. You don't have to be stabbed. You don't have to lose a parent to drugs. You don't have to go through prison. You can go straight to becoming an engineer. Like, focus your life, get your education, stay in school, listen to your parents. You don't have to be like me to be like me. You don't have to go through what I've been through to be where I'm at.
And, you know, I was going to ask you your biggest regret. Do you have a regret?
My biggest regret is prison. You know, what I did to go to prison. You know, just being selfish, not loving my children, because I couldn't have loved my children if I was making those decisions to go to prison.
Ooh.
So, and I realized this is real. This is Monica. I'm going to tell you this.
This is really real stuff.
I did not love my children or realize I loved them until I went to prison, because I no longer had access to them. And once I no longer had access to them, I couldn't hug them or kiss them or tell them that. Then I realized how much I love them. Well, when I was out there running around,
I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. And I know that about health too. You don't really know how much you need your health or love your health until you lose your health, right? That's a lot.
Steve Jobs is the perfect example. There was nothing he can do at the end, you know?
Who's your role model?
So this might come off as kind of, I don't have a role model. I have a real model.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good.
And my real model is a man named Dr. Bernard Gassaway. He used to be the superintendent for schools in New York City, and he sent me this book. He sent me a book when I wasn't reading books in prison. And he sent me a book in a letter in prison and said, listen, I want you to read this book and I want you to keep your head up.
What's the book called? What's the author again?
Dr. Bernard Gassaway.
Okay, I'm going to Google it. We can Google it.
I can't remember the title of the book, but he sent me this book.
I'm always looking for books.
And I read it, and it was just like, when you're in prison, you think that nobody cares about you. And just out of nowhere, you get mail, you get a book, and you get a letter from this person. And from there, like, he inspired me. And now he's my mentor out here. And he keeps pushing me.
How did he find you? How did he find you? This is such a good story. This is another good story we should do.
He was my brother's principal at the time. My brother was a teacher at I-72 in Jamaica, and he was the principal. And my brother told him about me.
Principals are heroes. We know that already.
And you know what's ironic about Dr. Gassaway? I was mentoring his nephew in prison, and we didn't even know each other.
So that's the connection, maybe.
No, we didn't know each other.
You didn't even know?
We didn't know until we got home. Like, this is my nephew, and I was mentoring the whole time.
TV story happening. Can we do that? Can you just connect me with all these wonderful people?
Of course.
Your favorite slogan, your motto to live by?
My favorite slogan is tough times don't last, tough people do. And I don't mean physically tough that you can do pull-ups. I mean mentally tough. Because no matter what you're facing, what we're looking at in this world and what's going on, you got to be tough. You got to be mentally tough to be able to persevere through it. So persevere is not just the ability to bounce back. It's the ability to recover. And you got to be tough to be able to recover from ailments.
Yeah, because you can bounce back, but you're not recovering.
Right.
And so you're kind of injured doing it, and it's like, this ain't working. I get it. That's really good.
Right.
Next podcast, who would you want sitting on this couch next?
You know me. I try to be a selfless person, and I would want the people who's
I know he wanted to invite everybody
my
here.
team.
We were going to have 100 people here, and you know my boss is watching this right now.
The team.
Tatiana, she would have went.
The people that support me.
We can't have that many. But I probably had 2 more.
Reggie Jackson, Tyrone Chandler. Baisley Lai, those young people that support me, that helps me with the Pull-Up Peace Challenge, like those guys are like, they're pushing it. They out there pushing Pull-Ups a Piece right now.
Yes,
so I would love to have them here and tell their story and why they was interested in me and helping me with it, because they just jumped on board. We don't have any money. We don't have any funding.
You're an attractive person, so you send out light. You're one of those people. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that.
That's why you're sitting here today, because you're just one of those people that's just an attractive person. And I mean that from the inside, you know? I mean, it's incredible, because the way people were out there, I mean, that's another thing, is we should just roll whatever we get on the camera. I think we're starting to do that already on social media, where you should just see how, when we step our foot right on that story, and then when we leave, that whole 20, whatever, for their 20, 30 minutes, put that on TV. That's it. Because that was an amazing day for you. And I know that must have been a turning point for you too, to see all the support of your community in South Jamaica saying, we believe in you, Prince. We believe in your story. We believe in what you've done, and we believe what's to come.
I told my wife, I said, Monica finally showed me my purpose. You know what I'm saying? When you first gave me the exposure for my car wash, I've never had that before. That wasn't my intentions to look for anybody to come in and do that, because I was doing it out the kindness of my heart. But when people started to come in, and from the community, just coming after the show and saying, thank you. This kid helps me with my groceries. This kid washed my car for free. This kid did this. That changed my life. And my mother used to say, Prince, I just hope I'm alive to see you come home from prison. And now my mother gets to see this. She got like a shrine in the house, Monica, of me. Like all this stuff that, anything I do, if you can't walk in her house without seeing
you.
Yeah,
It's all about Prince.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
No, it's okay. You're gonna make me cry. What is this? I'm making grown men cry here. Okay, I make my husband cry on a regular basis. But I just love you. And is your mom watching for reals?
My mom,
What's your mom's name? We got to do a shout out.
My mom's name is Veronica Davis.
Veronica.
And she's
that was supposed to be my name, by the way. I was supposed to be Veronica.
She's my biggest fan, and she has all my degrees and my doctorate degree and all.
So when you're going national, she'll be right there, going like this. We love moms. We love moms. So I don't want to let you go, but we love you. And thank you for sharing your story. I did not know any of this. See, we just never know what's going to happen on this podcast. And I have just this uncanny way of picking incredible people to just spill the beans on this couch. So I'm really appreciative of you. Thank you for being so real, raw, and honest with us. And you know what I always say, if one person is touched by this, we've done our job. We've done our job here at the Monica Makes It Happen show. So don't forget to watch every night at 5:45 and 6:45. I know Veronica's watching, especially when I put you on. We're making it happen together. See you next time.